Hello. In this video, we're going to be talking about negotiation styles. We're going to compare the hard style versus the friendly style or the soft style and see which one works best. The two styles are very different, and it's very important to understand the difference between the two and when to use it so you get the best out of your negotiation. Does style matter? Of course it does. It depends on the negotiation you're in. Now, if you are negotiating a very complex rocket fuel, jet engine propulsion system, then yes, it's going to be very complicated, and you probably should take the friendly approach to build relationships within the engineering, with the finance team, etc., etc., etc. Certainly, if you're negotiating a debt problem or a customer that's not paying, your style would be different to if you were negotiating for a jet propulsion system, etc. Does style matter? Of course it does. Depends on the negotiation you're in, will inform the style that you should use. Now, if you are negotiating a very complex deal for a large multinational collaborative program to develop a space shuttle, you're going to be very receptive to relationship building. You could be very collaborative with finance teams, engineering teams, supply chain teams, operational teams that deliver the project. So you're engaging all those stakeholders. That's going to be very different to if you're negotiating with a supplier that isn't supplying goods that you've paid for, or a customer that hasn't been paying you for the goods that they've had, etc. So let's have a look at different styles and how they work. The first one is, what is the advantage of being a tough guy / girl? Well, they're great for haggling. They're great for bargaining, where the outcome is more important than the actual process and the relationship built in. For example, if you're out in Bali and you're negotiating a gift item, a T-shirt or a fridge magnet, your negotiation style will be totally different to a collaborative approach, because you're not going to want to know what the seller's family situation is like. You're not going to know what their business is doing, who their supplier is, etc., etc., etc. So as a result, this type of approach, being tough negotiator, works best in haggling / bargaining situations where it's one issue negotiation. The other advantage of this particular style is that those individuals do not concede easily. They don't move from their position because they find it very tough. Usually they're alpha males, and they want to be the winners. So therefore they find it very hard to move from their position and concede items, especially on the negotiations that are one-sided or one objective. That they will hold their ground as much as they can. Because they don't concede easily, they could be used as a tool to soften their opponent. Doing the good cop, bad cop routine. You send the bad cop in, he has a go at the supplier / client. You draw them back. You come in and say, well, so do you want to go negotiate with that guy again, or do you want to go negotiate with me? Certainly, it softens up the opposition to give in to the demands, because you are far more empathetic and you're much more friendly, and you can be negotiated with. And the last advantage of this particular style in a one-issue negotiation, usually these individuals will get results because they're just so doggedly hard to move, and people just give up because it's very hard to negotiate against them, because they just bully you into submission to get the deal that they want, or as close to as possible to that. What's a disadvantage of the tough guy / girl approach? Well, nobody wants to be that person. Nobody wants to be disliked. Some people obviously don't care, and they pride themselves on that. But the rest of the team within that environment say, "Oh, that guy again." They'll roll their eyes, or sometimes it's even, you can see that within the negotiation setting, where the negotiator, who's the tough guy, and his team goes, "Oh, here we go again. He's off on one." So you don't want to be that guy. It's very important. Nobody necessarily wants to take ideas forward because they know they've just been met with this tough exterior and just get beaten to submission, because they know that's what they're like. Because those types of individuals do not concede easily. It's very hard to collaborate with them because they want to be winning all the time. Because usually collaboration means give and take in the negotiation context. It's very hard for them to let go of items that they see as value and to trade with the other side, because they don't want to be seen as the losers of the situation. Now, also, they built up a reputation as bull in a china shop. What I mean by that is when you're deciding on a person to send in on a mission to the other company or the other supplier slash client to build relationships, would you want to send that guy? You probably wouldn't. Yeah. So it's very important to understand what the strengths are and what the weaknesses are. Yes, they will get results short term, but they won't necessarily build great relationships that can deliver a huge amount of value in the future, because they usually piss off people in the process of their negotiation style. And therefore, people in the future will not necessarily want to work with them. Yes, they have to work with them, but they necessarily want to work with them. And that closes down doors of opportunities that would be there if the style of approach was more collaborative or friendly. Now we've looked at advantages and disadvantages of this particular style. Now let's have a look at the friendly approach. So what are the benefits of a friendly approach? They're great for large and complex deals because they look to accommodate both parties to find areas of opportunity within that given parameter. This style is great at building relationships, especially for large and long projects where you need trust in each other to deliver the project. It's not just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. It's a long-term goal that you need to work with people year in, year out in order to deliver a solution. And of course, you want to be trusted on the other side. And to do that, you need to have great relationships from the word go. You could have a tough approach. Yes, you will get results. However, the friendly approach delivers smarter results because they seek to accommodate both parties by harvesting the relationship and developing it further that could lead to future opportunities and therefore revenue or cost reduction, whatever it may be, to support the bottom line of the business. And usually these types of approaches work better in the long term and deliver long-term value. So what is the problem with this approach? Now, we've talked about all the benefits that could be had if the style is friendly to friendly. However, if the style is friendly to tough, what could happen is that if the negotiator is not well versed in dealing with tough opponents, that could give away a lot of the value to the tough opponent without even realizing it, because they're just being bullied into the submission to get away from the situation. Especially kind of inexperienced negotiators or people who aren't necessarily used to a tough style, they will give away a lot of value because they're expecting the same in return, but what they're getting is very little. And unfortunately, that does happen, and I've seen it firsthand, where bullies just go in and take what they want out of the situation because the other side is seen as a collaborative, strategic approach, whereas in fact it was just a tactical value grab, effectively. That means they're giving away a lot of value to the side and not getting a lot in return. Another challenge I've seen with this type of style is that when your management is tough style management and you're trying to go in there with a friendly approach to your suppliers in order to build relationships, it's a tough sell to them because they want hard results. They want results now. They don't want it tomorrow. They want them now. What is it you're getting for your money? How is it you're delivering this forward? How is this going to develop a relationship right now? And actually, they can't necessarily measure those type of outcomes or those relationships as supportive in the future that could save you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds. So it's very important to manage their expectations from an early stage before you go into negotiation. Because what happens is they expect to come out with a certain result, but if you manage that expectation prior to going to negotiation, it will be a much easier sell to come back to them and say, look, this is what I've agreed on a longer term deal or whatever it may be, collaborative deal that you want to be working with, that they will understand or be more accepting of the value given to them. I wanted to give you this quote because I really like it. There is a reason why you don't negotiate hard with your babysitter. And it's very true. It's all about relationship building, making sure that that other person has your interest at heart in order to give you the best outcome possible. Now, if it's a one-dimensional negotiation, you might want to choose more of a tough style negotiation. However, if it's a more complex type of negotiation, it would be very smart to go with a collaborative, friendly approach in order to get the best value out of the other side. Now, the challenge with that is that if you're met with resistance, if you're met with a tough guy approach, Yes, of course, you toughen your approach. However, you still have to maintain that friendly style because it can deliver results. Because if you go into a tough mode yourself, it's just becoming two bulls fighting over ground. That's not what you want. You want to be accommodating. You want to find solutions. You want to be finding opportunities, and you can show the other side what those opportunities are in the negotiation, and therefore driving value to you and them. Because sometimes it's not just them that is in negotiations, other people who also have influence within the organization, and therefore, convincing them behind the scenes, they go away, they have a think about it, they come back, and they actually decide to agree to the deal. So it's very important to maintain that friendly approach throughout. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed and liked this video. If you did so, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.